Hello, everyone. Hey, Highland, Mike, James, and Dave is here. DC Dave. So I hope everything's going good. As you can see in my background, we got 5 inches of snow last night. So we've gotten 7.5 inches already this winter. It's not even winter yet, it's still fall. Should be winter though. I think the calendar's not right. Oh yeah, Sona, that's right. I forgot. So yeah, so all my bees, none of them are flying in this weather. Hopefully, inside the box it's 49 degrees, and inside the cluster 85 degrees. I wouldn't think there's any more. Well, there might be some brood in there because um, just last week, about last Tuesday, they were bringing in a really deep, rich orange pollen in. So with the new pollen coming in, and they were bringing in a lot of it. I was kind of surprised how much they were. Hey, Roy, how much pollen they were bringing in last week. We had a couple days in the mid 50s, a little bit of sun, like 3 days in a row. But now it's been cold for quite a few days, and so that queen might have laid, softball size um, a brood or tennis ball size. So it might be in the low 90s in the center of that of those bees. So hey, Collector Rick, hope everything's going good. I don't I don't get the I don't push the snow off the entrance or anything on there. I figure it's extra insulation. And the heat of the hive will melt the entrance at least, a half, quarter inch, half inch. So there's plenty of airflow. So that's not a problem. So I let it go. I think Thursday it's supposed to go up to 35, but I think that's the warmest day in the next 10 days. So we definitely got a little cold snap coming through here. So we did set a record for the most snow today ever. Record was 4.2 inches, and we got 5 inches. 5 inches. So they were predicting 2 to 4, so a little bit more than what they thought. Hey, Randy, hope everything's going good. Good to see you on there. So, yeah, that's what's going on with the beehives right now. I'm not doing any projects right now for beekeeping because I don't have any of my new equipment that I'm picking up at NABI. I think what we got today's the 2nd. So next month, so I got probably about 31 days this month. So that's 29 plus 7. So probably about 36 days, somewhere in that ballpark. So we'll all be getting together, or most of us. I don't know if everybody's coming. I don't think DC is, or made the flight. Maybe next year. So yeah, so all that's good. Yeah, time's flying. I'm still trying to buy 144 medium frames from Acorn, but they're hard to. It's hard to get anything bought from that company. I go on their website and they don't have any shipping to pick up at NABI, so they give you a phone call to call. And I called that phone call probably 3 weeks ago, and the guy Michael, I think the guy's name, left a message. I couldn't even leave a message because his message box was full. Um, so I finally found their local number in California. So I'm talking to Patricia that works for Acorn, but she's down in Florida right now for the Florida Bee Association. So I'm going to give her a call tomorrow. I'm on Eastern time. She's on Pacific time. So I'll give her a call like 11 o'clock or noon time, my lunchtime. So same time for zone as DC Dave. Yeah, Dave, I know you lost your most of your hives, but you got good genetics now. So you turned the corner where you don't have to treat your hives so much. So I did take a walk by my hives, and at least the ones I got here, and all of them look good so far. I mean, I could tell they're all alive. So far so good. You know, all 26, well, there's six hives plus three more hives, nine. So all but nine hives I know are still alive. And I know the six at the other location, they're all good, strong genetics with the right genetics in them. They're all daughters of the VHS queens. And two of the three at the other place has the same genetics, and one of the Amish swarms, so they should be in pretty good shape too. In fact, the Amish swarm did really well this year. I was actually I only took like 3 or 4 frames of honey from them, but I was having, since the other ones were splits with new virgin queens that I grafted during springtime, I stole some of their honey to give to them so they'd have some honey, distribute the wealth a little bit. So, because they were June splits, so they didn't have much time to get built up. So that worked out good. The swarm probably already had hey Clay, a box and a half of honey in it that I could have taken, but I didn't. Just took some of it. So yeah, everything's good. Nothing really new. So I didn't buy anything big this year. Like I said, I'm buying 144 frames, I hope, from Acorn, medium frames. I bought 4 complete hives that consist of a bottom board, 2 deeps, and a medium super, the green excluder, inner cover, and lid. So I'll have to assemble them. I bought them all unassembled. So I'll need to assemble all them. I'm buying the plastic frames from Acorn, so I won't have to do anything with them. I'm only getting standard wax. I'll rub wax on them. I melt down my own wax now, being a beekeeper this long. And any little at the bottom of the candle, when I make my wax candles, the last little bit of it's got some of the dirt in it from the little bit left in the wax that accumulates down at the bottom. And I just turn those into those little 1-ounce blocks. And I rub those on the frames when I make just a day or that same time I'm making the splits, and that new wax smell just drives them nuts. I'm building the frames out. So when I sell those 4 hives, I'll take those all those frames, the deep frames and the medium frames, and rub that new wax on them. So they should get built up really fast. So I got 14 people. That's not bad since Bob's on now on a regular basis. That's pretty much going on with the bees right now. It's probably about 26 degrees out. I think it's supposed to go down about 22 tonight, so a little bit cold, but not too bad. So DC says so. Yeah, so that's good, Dave, that you found a friend that has a freezer space available. I don't even have to worry about small hive beetles and wax moths now. I could actually bring all my frames out if I wanted to, because you can see it's white outside. They're all dead or dormant for the next year. Yeah, it costs a jar of honey. That's cheap cost. In fact, that's one subject I want to talk about, the cost of the honey that we're selling it for, in a little bit. Kind of spread out the conversation a little bit since nobody's jumped on. Clay, you can jump on. We can tell jokes. You know I like to joke around. At least people at Navi knows that. Small group. Last year was great teasing you about your flat tire. That was funny. So good stuff. Yeah, we get cold, DC. We'll probably this year. I think it's going to be a pretty nasty winter. They expected 3 to 4 feet of snow, so we already got over a half foot. So we're on target for that for the year. Because typically January, March, or we get a lot of wet snow in March. We get those 7, 10 inch snows when the South keeps pushing that warm air up the Mississippi, Ohio, Tennessee, Ohio Valley, and at the same time, the Alberta Clippers start coming down, still coming down, and they meet right there in the Ohio Valley, Tennessee Valley, and we get nice little wet thunderstorm, snow, sometimes tornadoes. That's usually right around the end of March, early April. Okay, Clay, you're busy with antiques. Yeah, I've been going through all my coins trying to see if I got any silver coins and stuff like that. I had a whole big container of coins that I just threw in a container. I don't know, for the last 30 years. Found some wheat pennies, but no old pre 1965 dimes or quarters. Yeah, I think when my wife and I retire, she likes antique shops. I like going to antique places. So maybe someday we could take a road trip, a little 2 or 3 day vacation trip when she retires. Hey, feathers, flowers. Mm, Yeah, everybody hit the like button. That helps. I got 16 watching and I got 4 likes. It helps the algorithms. I guess so. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows with YouTube? BooTube. That's what some people call it. BooTube. There's a lot of little craft shops, antique shops around the west side of Cincinnati and the southeast Indiana area. There used to be a whole lot more, but a lot of them went out. Hey, bees, nuts, and honey. Hope everything's good. Yeah, a little town called Middletown, Miami Town, I should say, not Middletown, Miami Town. There's a Middletown too, that's north of me. Miami Town used to be loaded with antique stores, but I think there's only a couple left. It's a neat little town on the Great Miami River for its guy's name. It used to be called Miami, and then turned into Miami Town on the Miami River, Great Miami River. So I'm not doing any projects. Actually, right now my barn's cold too. I do have an electric heater, a 220-watt heater that can heat up in my barn. But I only run that when I'm in there, when I know I'm going to be in there for a couple hours doing projects. So right now, my biggest project, like today, I got the tractor out and the shovel out. I didn't get the snow blower out. Hey, I'm wearing your hat. See today. So good to see you. Yeah, Peanuts Chris. All right, I got it. I got it. I have to remember all these names. So yeah. So I got those 4 hives, 2 8 framers, 2 10 framers, and 144 frames. That's about all I've purchased so far this year at Nalby. Nothing big. I'll think about maybe an uncapping tank. but I think I'll wait one more year. Um, I mean, not an uncapping tank. I got that, a clarifier tank. I meant get a clarifier tank. Right now, I use the Hop Spider and the regular round ones, mostly the Hop Spider, and to get all the wax cappings and stuff like that. So, well, I want to talk about what we sell our honey for. I think we beekeepers aren't very good at keeping up with cost of living when we sell our honey. Um, I remember just 8 years ago, honey was selling for like about $12 to $14 a bottle, and now it's only selling for $15 to $16 a bottle, about $2-3 more at most. Hey, Matt and Jen, and Matt and Jen. Where did I get that from? Yeah, I'm losing it. But I know when I used to work, if I went out to eat some fast food or something like that, it would cost me $7. Now it's like $13 to $15. It's about doubled. Cost of living is probably in the last 10 years has doubled, but the price of honey has not doubled. So I'm curious. I really think we should be selling our honey probably for like $20 a pound, to keep up with the cost of living, inflation, basically. So I think next year I'm going to be, next year, a month from now, I'm going to be raising my price up a little bit, just to cover all the additional costs. I mean, sugar's more, chemicals are a lot more. Even equipment's gotten a lot expensive. Look at these prices now, even at Nabby's prices, and they're not as good as they were just 3 years ago. So the discounts aren't as big this year as the past years. It seems like to me. I think there's a few exceptions, but not as a norm. So I think pricing. I think we're behind the times in pricing of all of our bee stuff: candles, honey, bee balm, lipstick, soaps, and all that good stuff. I think some people are starting to raise it up, but I think as a whole, I still see people selling it for like $12. They can't be making any money especially if they're treating their bees. I mean, there's chemicals are expensive now. Yeah, DC, that's 1.5 pounds for 18. I think a pound should be $20 to $25. Yeah, I plan on selling a pound for at least $20. You know, yeah, Clay, 21. I think you got it a little bit better. But like I said, I still see people selling it for $12, $14. And man, you look at the cost of the bottle, the lid, the chemicals to kill the mites, the equipment cost, all that stuff. Buying a new hive tool every year because you lose one. I haven't lost a hive tool yet ever beekeeping. I've misplaced them and they've disappeared for a year, but then I find them. I found one in a hive. It's like down in the brood box. It was all propolised. Yeah, I agree. Location, location, location. I know down in your area in the south, there's a lot more competition. So supply and demand. And if you live in the area where you live, I live where my street is. It's a private drive, but there's a lot of money in my area. There's some rich families. I'm not one of them. I'm doing good, but I'm not a rich family. Yeah, I'm thinking about more than $1 an ounce $1.50 an ounce. So, or at least $1.25 an ounce. I think it used to always be $1 an ounce. So $16 for a bottle. I think it should be $20 to $25 a bottle for a lot of areas. I know Nancy was selling her bottles for at least $20 where she lives, but I think she lives in even a more upscale area than where I live. It's all we got a little bit of everything where I live. Rich people, we got river people that's just a couple miles down from me. It's only 2 3 miles to the river, Ohio River. So got those river communities. You know, yeah, 2 ounce bears. That's a good price. See, if you did that, that's a real good price. That's making some money. So I want to sound greedy, but I think we're giving our honey away for what the bang you get out of the honey. I mean, if I can go to an Arby's or a McDonald's and all that and get a small little burger and fries and a small drink, and you're talking $12 for nothing. So a bottle of honey is not better than a little Burger King or McDonald's or one of those little fast food places. I don't hit those too much anymore. Rare. I don't think I've been to a McDonald's in 3 or 4 years. They'd go out of business if it was like me. Yeah, I was watching Bill's last night and he had Andy on there. He's selling his little 2 to 3 ounce packages, sampler packages. I really like that idea. I don't know if anybody else saw that. And when I do my classes, I could sell those or give a couple away for for coming to the class, giveaways and stuff like that. So I really like that idea. Yeah, honeybee samplers or there's little pouches, clear pouches. That way you can just buy the little plastic bag versus a bottle, little squeeze package. Yeah, it's good for that. Um, yeah, I don't have a whole lot more to talk about. I mean, I don't know. I need somebody else to jump on here. Lee, you got some time? I'm begging. I pinned it. I think it still should be pinned. Well, I don't see it up on top anymore. Oh yeah, it's on top still. Okay. I don't see anybody in the background, so yeah, so little bear is 50 cents a cap. So yeah, you're making some money off of that. You ever did a cost of how much a pound of honey costs with all your expenses a year? I haven't done that. I probably need to do that in a little spreadsheet just to get a ballpark. Doesn't have to be precise, you know, stuff like that. You're not even counting your time. That's probably the biggest one. How much time you have to spend out in the bee yard just to get 50 pounds of honey, 100 pounds of honey. That's one of my biggest goals this year. I'm going to try to get bigger hives going into spring. I know I have to worry about swarming, but I can manage that. I did buy 2 boxes of the global patties that's got the rocket fuel in them and real pollen in them through oh shoot Hilco through John. So I forgot about that. I'll be picking those 2 boxes up. So I won't be making any fondant. So I'll just be putting these pollen patties on probably at the end of January, early February. Those are pretty big patties, so I'll probably cut them in half. I might even cut them in thirds, or cut them in half. That's my game plan. Put a half one in each one of them. Yeah, this right on the money. Time is definitely a big one, but cheaper than therapy. And actually, it's my workout every year. I don't have to go to a gym. I still pick up those cheap and medium boxes and stack them. And I plan on doing that until they bury me. Good night, Lee. I guess you're working. There's a lot of crane work going on. That's good. Working those 10-hour days, I guess. Yeah, my son he started working. Well, he put his regular 8-hour day in Monday, but then he didn't go home. He went to the central location for Hamilton County that I live in Ohio, and he drives the loader truck that fills up the salt trucks. That's his primary job this year instead of driving a salt truck. So he did that, I think, for 8 hours, and then he got like a couple-hour break because I saw him at the west. He was in the west side, close where I live, actually just a few miles away from me. He was at that station. I think he was taking a 4-hour nap because I think he got a 4-hour break. And then he went on a salt truck and did that all morning, all day today until he got off work at 3:30. So I think he worked all but 2 days with a 4-hour break and maybe a couple dinner and lunch breaks in between. So I know he's probably sleeping right now too. He's going to go back in tomorrow. But they got the streets all cleared out. It got up to 31 degrees today. Sun never came out. It stayed cloudy like my background of my stream here. But it's supposed to clear out tonight. It's supposed to be sunny tomorrow, and it's supposed to go up to 30, 31. So that'll melt the rest of it. But it was a wet snow, so it melted. My driveway is pretty much clear, most of it. And I cleared the private driver, then another neighbor, Steve. Steve and I cleared most of it. And my new neighbor, Corey, he has a 2-stage snowblower, a pretty big one. He cleared out a lot of it too. So between the three of us, we got it knocked out in a couple hours. It's almost a half mile long going all the way back to my neighbors. That's kind of at the very end. So somewhere between a third to a half mile. But it's pretty much hey, Harold, nice to meet you. Houston, yeah, that's a big Cincinnati name. Don't know where you're from. So yeah, I'm addicted to beekeeping. Basically, I love doing the hard work. My buddy sometimes tells me I'm crazy. Actually, tells me all the time I'm crazy, but keeps me going. That's for sure. So anybody got any questions? Shoot them to me. Put them in caps or say question or put a Q or something. And I'll see what my opinion is on it or if I can answer it. Am I expanding my hives? I don't plan on it. In fact, if I don't buy that property that's adjoining me and my neighbor behind me, I'll have to move all but 4 hives because county and state regulations, basically state regulations, not county. They don't care. So that'll be a job. I have places to put them. I have a lot of places I can put hives. Well, I have to build the stands and all that still. I got one location where I got the stand pre-built. I just got to carry some boards and some cinder blocks. I'll be doing that probably in a couple of weeks. We're supposed to, about the middle of the month, we're supposed to have some days in the low 50, 40, 48, 50 degrees. So I'll probably move them on, or get them all set up on those days, get the rest of the stand built, and I'll probably move at least 5 more hives. Probably the 5 on my left over here, the 5 right there. Those are all, three of them are still Corey Stevens queens from this year, and 2 of them are daughters because they swarmed. So I'll be moving them to the other property. It's a mile away from me, the other property. As a crow's mile, probably 2 miles to drive it. So they're close. And my other place is about 6 miles away from me, 7 miles. So I can put 2 more hives over there. So that'll get me pretty good. I got another place in a little town called Harrison, Ohio, which is literally on the border between Ohio and Indiana, out I-74. I can put some hives out there. That's about a 15-minute drive. It's not too far away, 20-minute drive. So I might move some hives out there. I haven't seen the property yet, but they've asked me to. It's my wife's friend. She's a school teacher with her, and they asked me to put some hives out there if I wanted to. So I might do that. And out in Indiana, I got a farm that I can put beehives out to. That's an hour drive. So I might put some out there. I'd rather put some out there because there's a lot of goldenrod and other flowers out in that area and get a little bit different flavor of honey. Wouldn't do like what Philip does down Texas, has his 2 different locations of honey. So that might be, I might put like 7 hives over there. So if I put 5 more hives there, 2 more hives, that's 7 hives. I got 16 of them on that stand. So that'd give me 11. So I could probably take another 6 or 7 more and put them out in East Enterprise, Indiana. And that'll leave me with 4. But I have till spring they gave me 6 months to take care of it because they know how beekeeping is. Just can't pick up and move hives. Well, you can if you have to, but they gave me 6 months. So by the end of March, I think I gotta have them about all moved. But I'm hoping by then to buy that property at 2.75 acres. I don't have the legal amount of acres. I won't have to move any hives. So I might just hold off till maybe February. I want to do it while it's cold. It's the best time to move hives when they're dormant. So I might wait till then and then move them on a 40-degree day. That'll be in February. And I have to wait till a day where it's 3 to 4 days, no higher than 40 degrees. Since I'll only be moving a little mile. Yeah. I hope everything's good with Lee's mom too. Forgot about that. So yeah, I might be moving a lot of hives here this winter, February. I'll wait as long as I can. See if that neighbor. He said he was interested in selling it, so he just hasn't. We just haven't come to terms yet. So that would be good news. And then I'll buy his house and flip his house. Not a good time. Not a good time to be selling houses though. 6 months ago it was, but not now. At least not in my area. Well, it's not too bad in my area. Houses haven't gone down, but it's flattened out. So I guess it's still okay to sell houses, to flip houses. Yeah, I got 16 regular hives on my 2.95 acres, not quite 3 acres. And in my horizontal hives, I got 4 hives right now out of the 7. A small lid, flat lid one that's right, my finger's disappearing, right over there, has 3 hives in it, and the tall one has 1 hive in it. So that gives me, I think I got 18 hives on my property right now. So a couple of these hives right there I don't have covered up are dead outs. They're those were swarms. I didn't replace the queens. I'm to the point now that I'm gonna unless they come from my brother's farm, any other swarms that I catch, I'm gonna replace the queens too. And it seems like I have 50% duds, or they have bad genetics. That's what I should say. They're probably good queens if you treat for mites and all that good stuff, but I don't do that anymore. So most of them don't make it through winter if I don't replace the queens. Well, that's good, Dave. Yeah. So, yeah, I got 4 hives in that out of that 16, so 12, 16 hives plus over here I got a couple more hives. Right. Oops, right over here, right there. To the very side, there's a couple more hives. So you can kind of see them in the background. Tree kind of blocks it. Snow all over it. So yeah, we've had three snow. We had 2.5 inches, and then a half inch, and now 5 inches. So a little bit of snow this year so far. Yeah, DC, those are my homemade long hives. Um, a guy gave me 2 of these big shipping containers that have 2.5 inches of insulation on them, all the way wrapped around them, and I built hives inside of them. The big tall one has 3 33 frame hives in it, 16 over 17 over 16 with a frame feeder, and the other one's got 4 24 frames in it, 12 over 12 with frame feeders in them. So yeah, I really want to take the big one that's got 3 33 frames in it and make them into 4 24 frames in it. I'm hoping that when the inspector comes out, he doesn't realize I have bees in them. And I'll have 12 hives, well, 8 hives plus my 12 hives. Or I have to move all my hives and just keep one of those with bees in it. So I'm not a real big fan of long hives. I mean, I've never had real good success, but these are insulated boxes. So as of right now, I checked on them. They're all doing good. So they should work. I mean, they should have no issues. I didn't feed them quite as much. Actually, the one on the flat one, I hardly fed at all. But the other one had the 1 hive I fed pretty much like all the other hives. So, but I didn't steal any honey from them either. So they're living off of themselves of what they stored during the year. Yeah, those are hives. 7 hives altogether. I think I did some content on them once on my video, but I'll make some new ones up next year. Yeah, yeah, it's a lot of work moving hives. Yeah, actually, I'll be better off waiting until February because then um, most of the honey stores and it will be the hives will be a lot lighter. So that's a very good. You just gave me another idea why I don't want to move them yet. It's too early. They're too heavy right now. So if I wait to the end of February or even March, um, they'll be really light then. There'll be low numbers of bees in them, and they'll be about out of food, if not out of food, or just whatever pollen patty I put on. Hey Gary, good to see you. So yeah, I'll wait till then, see how the weather's going, and when I see that I got a 4 day, I'd say from the third week of February in my area. Hey Darren, um, usually it's our coolest weather goes from about the middle of January to about the middle of February, first week of February, or the first week of January to the first week of February. If it gets above 32 for the high, it's a good day. And if we don't get down, if we don't get in this negative numbers, it's a good night. But typically we'll get down to -5, -8, hopefully no -10s or 15s or 20s like we do some years. We don't get much snow when it gets real cold like that either. Just maybe a little half inches that come off of from down from Canada, but there's no moisture in them. Dry snow just blows and blows and blows. Hey Dennis, yeah, you can keep it too. Yeah. You know what? I don't have to worry about small hive beetles, and I really don't even have to worry about wax moths because this weather I'm having right now kills it all. And I even think it knocks the mites down a lot. So when we get the 2 weeks of -0 degrees and all that, it's a good thing because I know that the following year I don't have to worry about small hive beetles, wax moths. I don't even have to worry about yellow jackets that much and stuff like that because they get way knocked down too. And by the time they get their numbers, the year will be over. So it makes a difference. Yeah, Gary, I'm the same way. I think Thursday it's supposed to go up to 35, and all the rest of the days is 30s, like 30 degrees, 32 degrees. So, yeah. And then I think maybe, see, what's the calendar? Today's the 10th, 12th, maybe the week of the 15th. I think we're supposed to get up in the 40s, maybe even 50 degrees. I looked out the other day that long, and that's what they had forecasted. But that could change. Well, yeah, I don't know what my forecast is for tomorrow night. I have to look it up. Let me look it up real quick. I didn't think I saw any real cold nights, low 20s. We do the 10-day. Oh, yeah, 18 degrees Friday morning. Yeah, Wednesday the 10th, supposed to go up to 45 and rain. So that's not too bad. Oh, 33 tomorrow, 37 on Friday. So that's a warm day. So they bumped it up a couple of degrees. But I do see an 18. So an 18 degrees would do pretty good. You got me beat at 13. I got 18 so far. I'm a little bit, well, I'm not really that far out from town of Cincinnati, but I live in an area that's extremely hilly, steep little hills. And all we have is not many real big subdivisions. And there's no such thing as a straight road or flat ground where I live. So the only houses at the bottom where the creeks are and on top of the ridge. And I'm on top of the ridge. And I want to buy the house that's down by the creek that runs down through there. Oh, Dennis, you got a new heart valve. I hope everything goes good. You can hear it. Okay. Supposedly on my replaced knee that I got last year, I'll be able to tell when it rains the day before. I don't think I've noticed that yet, but that's what everybody tells me. So I hope everything's good, Dennis, with your heart valve. I am going to have this shoulder. I was going to actually make an appointment today. I ripped a muscle a year ago right in here. It's not a real big one, just a tear. I've been living with it for a year. But it's been bothering me a little bit more and more lately. So, yeah, just minor stuff. But that's it for everything else. Everything else has been good, knock on wood, between my wife and I. She got off today with the 5 inches of snow. She's going to go back tomorrow. All the streets are fine. So, oh, Dennis, I hunted more this year than I ever hunted, and I haven't taken a deer yet. Um, I took back in 2019, right over there, over this way. I took a 168 10-pointer, and I personally trying to find a bigger buck. I'm looking for a 170 plus buck. I'm really looking for one that has a drop tine in it. I've never got a deer with a drop tine in it, but I have so many deer around where I live. I can shoot one anytime I want, a doe to put in the freezer, which I'll be doing sometime probably in early January, right after Nobby. I'll probably take a doe. So, yeah, I could dig that picture up. That's a big buck that I took some years ago. I've taken some pretty big ones. I got a 153 8-pointer. That's actually bigger than my 10-pointer, but it's only an 153. It's a biggie. So, yeah, in fact, I had 3 does in my backyard this morning. So, about, I don't know, this was probably 12 years ago. The newspaper put out an article about Mac, Ohio, where I live, that there was 187 deer in every per square mile. That puts down 1 deer per acre, almost, just under 1 deer per acre. And I think right now we're probably at 125 square mile. So there's probably a half a deer per acre, maybe 3/4 of a deer per acre. When my kids were little, they used to give names to all the deer because we see them every day and we can tell the difference between one deer and another deer. In fact, one year when the kids were little, this was probably back in the early 2000, 2002, 2003. We had 2 fawns that were born in our garage on the cool floor, and they would hang out just behind my. You can see my garage in the corner there in the background, and they would just hang out in the backside behind the garage till they got big enough, and they would hang around the property all the time, and you could walk up to them and pet them. They got to know us so well. Those deer. So yeah. Well, that's good for the freezer. Yeah, I look for a doe and 1 fawn, so I know it's a 1.5-year-old doe, which makes it really good eating. Those big old bucks aren't the best for eating. Maybe the back straps are about it. Everything else turns into hamburger or sausage or beer jerky, stuff like that. Yeah. So since I'm retired, I hunted a lot of Indian. I used to live up in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I'm back in the mid to late 80s, probably 87, I think it was. 86 or 87, I bought a lifetime hunting license from the state of Indiana. So my brother's got a farm out in Indiana, 101 acres, so I hunt out there a lot. And I saw 1 big buck when I was gun hunting last week. But I only saw 3 steps of him. I only saw him gone. I was hunting a very, very thick area. I could only see 40 yards through the thickets at most. In one area, I could see about 65, 70 yards, and he cut through that area and through the thickets. Could never hunt it with a bow, which I do mostly a bow hunt. I used to compound hunt till a couple years ago. Now I switched to a crossbow. I can still pull my bow back and all that, but I can't hold it for 3 minutes still anymore. My body won't let me. Yeah, I got some chestnut trees that are just now starting to get chestnuts on them. Hopefully next year a lot more than one of them, and deer will be hitting those babies big time. I got one in the woods right by underneath my deer stand. So give them a couple more years, and I'll have more deer in my backyard than you can think of. And they're actually hybrid American chestnuts, and I know the two that one in my front yard, one in my backyard, or they show all the traits of being an American chestnut versus a Japanese chestnut, or Japanese chestnut. I actually have one in my picture right there in that cage right there is a chestnut tree. I planted it about 5 years ago. Yeah, Dennis, I bet you, yeah. Well, that was like, yeah. When I had my knee surgery, I was down for, I had to walk every day, but I couldn't do anything much for a month or two. In fact, I was lucky I was good enough in the middle of September to go to Nobby last year, but I did a lot of sitting, especially that third day. I couldn't walk anymore. My knee was shot. It was pretty swollen too, but I won't have any issues this year for the 3 days. So what time is it? 8:22. So not too bad for my time, Eastern time. Yes, they do, Rodney. They have burrs around them for the shells. Yep. Yeah, not a whole. Yeah, pretty much. They're in a cluster, kind of. So my trees aren't quite big enough yet to really put out some, but they will be. And the one in the front yard that's in a wet area is doing the best. The one up here that's in a dry area, really dry area, is doing the worst. So yeah. So now we're talking about deer hunting more than beekeeping. I was a deer hunter before. I started deer hunting when I was actually 16 years old, but really 18 years old when I really started really hunting. I just goofed around the first couple of years. So I think I started hunting in 1979. If you saw a deer back then, you shot it because you might not see another deer. And back then it was buck only. You couldn't even shoot does. So if you saw a buck, you shot it. Back in the early 70s, late 70s, and early 80s. I'd hunt for 2 weeks and see maybe two deer. And I was hunting on 273 acres of farms where most of it was all woods and farms around it out in Indiana. Your husband's supposed to have knee replacement this morning, but canceled. Too close to Nobby. Yeah. Yeah. I would, 1 month. Yeah, he'd still be swollen. You could walk a little bit, but then you'd have to ice up probably. Yeah, I would have canceled too. 2 months, 3 months is fine. Well, September, October, November, December. Yeah, 3 months was fine. 3.5 months. It's fine, but a month, no way. Yeah, that wouldn't have been good timing. But you'd be surprised. He'll be walking more than you think. I mean, I tried to walk Even the next day, I walked a little bit with the walker and then the cane a little bit. I know when I had my surgery on a Monday, I had therapy on Tuesday. Um, I don't think I walked in that day. If I did, I did with the walk. Wednesday, on Friday, then I had the therapy again. I know I walked in that day. Yeah, that was a smart move. So does they have it rescheduled, Shona? I could do my surgery anytime. It's going to be simple surgery. Just got to cut me, stitch it back together, and heal it back up. Plus, I won't be, you know, but I haven't even scheduled it yet, so I'll be definitely after Nobby. You know, tomorrow. I'll schedule it tomorrow, maybe even tonight. So we'll do everything online. I was going to stop at 8:30. Um, See if Bob is on. Is Bob on tonight? I didn't see anything. Maybe that's it right there. Walker B, yeah, he's on. He's got Joey on. Okay. I still got 14 people. That's not too bad for having two of us going at the same time. that that works out good, Dennis. Um, is that all the splits? Okay. So if some of your queens don't make it back, do you get any of the splits back? Or once he gets them, he keeps them. I usually try to keep a couple splits just for insurance. I put them on top in a double screen board. I'll do actually. I usually the splits usually go to nuke. I usually sell, but then I'll split the hive in half on top and top and put two virgin queens in. I think only one time did I ever not have one of the two queens come back. But at the same time, I'd have some that'd be sitting I'd have two queens, so I just move the queens over. Oh, Rodney, you got 110 hives. You're busy. I'm busy enough being retired with 30 hives, basically. I run, well, 26 to 30 hives plus anywhere from 16 to 25 nukes, mating nukes and stuff like that during the summer. Right now, I got 8 hives, 6/6 hives, 12 frame hives. And I got summer solstice queens overwintering in. So they're over there on my left again, over there, behind the um, horizontal hives. There's another whole row of hives. Three of the big ones, two of the big ones, and then a bunch of 6/6 mating nukes. And I overwinter hot bees in. I tried doing 5 frames. I can give them over, but they're so small coming out of winter. 6/6 works pretty good. I still get basically 4 frames, 5 frames of bees in it. Yeah, and plus you do all your cutouts. Yeah, I did one house this year and I did one tree this year. That's all I did. I probably got 15 calls, and I gave them to my friend, which does cutouts. One of my mentees about 5 years ago. He does a lot of cutouts. He owns a hardware store down the road from me. So I think he keeps about 7 lines on his property. He actually lives in Cincinnati in the property line down by the river. And I catch probably about 25, 20 to 30 swarms. Yeah, I'm the same way, Rodney. Swarms on top of that. And I put out about 10, 9 to 11 swarm traps. And every one of them will catch at least one swarm, if not two. So that gives me 20, right? 15 to 20 right there. But the coming year, I'm not going to put near as many out. I'm going to put 4 of them at my brother's farm because I know the genetics out there. They're the Amish. I don't know what kind of bees they are. The dark bees typically, and they're the Amish swarms from the Amish beekeepers. That's all around his property. They're beekeepers. There's one beekeeper. He's only got a few hives, but he's probably about 5 to 6 miles away. So I don't think I get any of his swarms, but maybe. But there's one beekeeper that's just a half mile north of my brother's farm, and they fly in from the north, so I know exactly what Amish farm they come from. They have nice 2 big lakes, probably a 7-acre lake and about a 4 to 5 acre lake on their property. Real nice property. And it's actually kind of flat right there too. They got they do corn every year, big patches of corn, acres of corn, probably a couple of 200-300 acres of corn. And they got they got probably about 25 to 30 hives on this guy's farm. And there's always swarms flying over my brother's house. So he's the one who told me about it, I guess 5 years ago, and I put a couple traps out there all over the farm. And that's when I learned that all the bees flew right by the barn and right by his house. And so now I put them all within 15 feet of each other on his either one in his barn and on against his barn up above. He's got a little platform that he built some years ago. And I put them up on that to about 7 feet off the ground. And one of them's about 2 feet off the ground. I actually put in the barn, and they catch swarms every year. So I'll keep those swarms. The other swarms, I'll probably just take the queen out, one frame, put her in a 3-frame mating nuke, just to hold her, and then I'll dump the bees in one of my honey hives to get more instant bee population. That's what I do with most of my queens. And then if the queen's a good queen, a month later, she'll have 3-4 frames of brood, and then I'll sell her as a nuke, swarm nuke. I usually sell them for $150 to $175. But if it's a dead queen, then I pinch her and move on. That's pretty much what I do with my swarms. They get used one way or another. Either the bees get used or the queen gets sold as a nuke. And I tell them it's a swarm, a swarm queen. I got a lot of people that want to buy swarms versus packages. So they save a few dollars buying my swarms for $150 versus buying a package. And they know they got a good and overwintered queen and bees that are ready to make comb. So it's a win-win. When I do my classes, I talk about that connect up with a beekeeper to catch the swarms and see if you can buy a swarm for that same price as a package. And 9 out of 10 times, 19 out of 20 times, you'll get a better queen than when you get out packages. Plus, you get bees that are ready to go. So, but I keep about the same amount of hives. I just find a way to find the bees. I usually give a few swarms away for free or for very low dollar. Free basically, or they buy me something. I always get people in the middle of the year saying, I can't find anybody to get any bees. They're all gone. I said, well, the next swarm I catch, it's yours. So I did 3 of them that last year. They called me up, I think it was probably May, and I said, well, if I catch any more swarms, they're yours. I just gave them to them. So it all comes back over time, being nice. At least I think so, more than not. Yeah, and swarm bees are already claimed in the area. Yep. Yeah, and all the beekeepers are local beekeepers that want the swarms. I mean, they're on the west side of Cincinnati where I live. So, yeah. In fact, I got one that I'll probably get a swarm to them this year that lives in just up from the William Henry Harrison, President William Henry Harrison tomb. About, I don't know, they're probably only about 4 or 5 miles away from me, 3 miles. Probably not even that far, probably 4 miles at most. Everything's curvy around here, so it seems like it's farther away. But the crow's mile, they're not that far. Just like my place that's 1.1 miles away from my house, I actually have to drive probably close to 3 miles to get to it. I have to go down the valley, around the creek bed, up another creek bed, and then up his hill. His farm is actually only one ridge over from me. But I can't go across the ridge. I have to go down. There's two creeks meet together where there's roads, and then drive up his private drive. Yeah, that's what I tell everybody, Vincent, when I do my 2 classes in April, first week of April and the second week of April, that you're better off taking a swarm over a package of bees, and they cost about the same amount. Or swarms can even be free sometimes, or even a better price. Well, and if they're April swarms, they're going to be big swarms, and those are really good queens typically. You get in the late May, those are probably just average swarms because the queens were good, but they took them a long time to build up, or they were really small coming out of winter, and it just takes them another month to get going to swarm. This could be a good queen, but more times than not, those middle to late May swarms are just average swarms. They're usually not as big either. But it's people that don't. It's probably from beekeepers that kept them double deeps and never put any boxes on them or something like that, and they just don't have the bees. Yeah, I had one. I got a package this year, Vincent, and I put it out on the. I put it in a box, and I think it never got into a double deep, and by August it was dead. I didn't do anything to it. I fed it a gallon of sugar water when I first got them, with plus the little jar that came with it. So a jar and a pint, a gallon and a pint to get them going. And now they already had comb frames, probably 70% of them. So they didn't even have to make any comb or anything like that. And they didn't even make it to August. I was just doing an experiment to see how long they'd make it. I won't do that anymore. I'll just throw the queen away and give them a virgin queen when I graft. I do plan on grafting a little bit more this year and selling a little bit more VHS daughter queens. Maybe get $45 for them, or not 45. Made it once I would. I'll get maybe $15 for a VHS virgin, something like that. Maybe 20. I think Corey Stevens, I think his virgins are $35, maybe 40. he can't keep them. He can't produce them fast enough. At least right now. Maybe he's probably getting better, getting more and more. So, yeah, actually, people will be posting here probably at the end of this month. Usually starts around Christmas for packages and nukes and all that. So I'll be putting my flyer out probably after Navi, or maybe just before Navi. I usually wait till middle January, 1st of January. I'll check, see how those 8 hives are doing. All my hives are doing, and then make a decision how many I got from there. And I do my splits in April. You sell those hives. I'll graft. I usually graft about the first week of April, um, and that allows then the queen typically then um, flies out about the third week to the end of April, and by then I mean, everything's in full bloom by then. We're just hoping that usually by the last frost is Mother's Day, which is usually around the 10th or 12th of May. Chances of us getting a freeze in May is very slim, maybe once every 10 years, a heavy frost or a freeze. So typically by the end of third week of April, everything's rocking. I'm cutting grass already 2 or 3 times. Usually 1st of April, I'm cutting grass. So drones are flying then, good population of drones. So then I make my splits. Then I graft again, typically a week before that, or 2 weeks before that. So when I make my splits, I got virgin queens to put right back into the hives right away. So I don't lose a whole but a week. Should be ready to fly out like in 2 or 3 days. Take her about anywhere from 3 to 5 days to process her mating and get laying eggs. So usually around 10 days. I lose about 10 days of a brood protection. But those virgin queen, the newly mated queen, in another week, she'll catch those 10 days right back up. And just a few days in a week or two, they rock, those brand new queens. My 8 that I did back in June, those queens will rock from day one. I'll move those actually. Those I don't sell. Those I actually move into my hives, my production hives that are behind me. So those 8 will get put in those, and those nukes will come out. I'll take a nuke out of those 6/6 mating nukes and just swap 4 frames, so I don't lose brood or nothing. I just get new brood and new queen. And all those bees that stay on the frames as I carry them over. So it works pretty good. That way I don't lose any. But the other hives I'll lose, like I said, 10, 12 days, 10 days. I don't wait till the 5th day when she's ready to fly. The 6th day, I usually put her in the 3rd or 4th day. Give her a couple days. Give them 2 days. I usually put them in on the 4th day, and then I don't put a full cotton dough ball in there, sugar ball in there, a plug. They usually can get her out within no longer than 2 days, a day and a half. I usually put in there, and that way they get acclimated with her a little bit, and then she'll be flying out probably that day or the day after, the next day. And usually by that next day, she's already back and made it. So 5 days after that, she's laying. So I lose maybe like 7 days a week to 10 days at most. And I try to time that out when I'm going to do my first graft to when I'm going to be selling the nukes. So those queens are already been emerged out for 3 to 4 days. So the next day I can put that day after I make up the new, I can put her in the cage and let them get her out. You know, very little loss. I just lose 3 frames of brood basically in a week. I'm getting a couple messages. See what's going on here. Hold on a minute. I have no idea what this guy's talking about. All right, I'll check it later. It's not important. So, oh, maybe I'll go to 9 o'clock and then I'll call it a day, night. Dave for the West Coast people like Dave. He hasn't posted in a while, so he's probably eating dinner. He's doing something before it gets dark. But yeah, so that's my typical April 1st. The earliest I've ever grafted was March 27th. That was 2 years ago. But typically, this year I actually grafted on April Fool's Day, the 1st. So it's usually right around then. Our first trees, the silver maple trees, bloom the first couple days of March. Silver maple trees usually bloom the second week of March, and then everything starts blooming after that. I usually about the first week of April, the redbud trees are blooming, or maybe the second week of April. So I'm usually the queens are flying a week to 2 weeks after the redbuds bloomed. Yeah, packages, Vincents are a waste of the queen's a waste of money. I would rather buy 3 pounds of just bees with no queen, so I could use the poundage of bees. There are a couple people that actually sell. They're not usually 3 pounds; they're usually 4 pounds of bees. So if I ever did that, I'd just buy the 4-pound package of bees, and then put a queen, either a maiden or a virgin queen in them. I do a lot of virgin queens. I usually don't have, and I mark them ahead of time too. I don't have any issues with them being marked. So, yeah, as soon as they emerge out of the cell, I mark them because they can't fly. Then they just crawl around, innocent little queens. That's the best part. Oh, I got a phone call. This is that order I was talking about with Patricia. So I'm gonna stop for a second. Hold on a minute. Hey Patricia, how you doing? I'm on a live stream right now. Yeah, well, I'll call you in the morning. Yeah, standard wax. You're still you're still on Eastern time, right? Yeah, I'll call you sometime 8 or 9 o'clock. All right. Well, you too. Bye. There you go. She's going to call me back, or I'm going to call her in the morning. She's down Florida. I should be down Florida. I got a cousin that lives down there. He's a retired bodybuilder. He was one of the best in the world, actually. I think his highest he ever did was third, and he was injured that year, and he only could do one activity he couldn't do, and if he would have done that, he would have been the bodybuilder of the year. He owned, I think, 6 gyms, and then he became a fireman. Did that after bodybuilding. He still lifts. He's probably 70 years old now, and you'd think he was 50 years old. He built like a brick. But I go down and see him every few years. I should be down there now doing this live stream. There'll be no snow. It'll be a lot better. All right, everybody. Well, I can go 10 more minutes. I'll go to 9 o'clock. So, Yeah, it's going to be a little bit different this next year, though. If I only have four hives on my place, I'll have to do I'll have to put all my queens in cages and take them over to my other hives and get my boxes and get my nukes out of them and bring them back over here so the customers can pick them up from here. You know, little logistics off my properties. Yeah, it's 58.50 now, Rick. I I bought all my ounces when it was like 22 dollars, most of it. So I've already doubled, at least doubled, um, the past, I don't know, 3 months. So yeah, if people don't know, I got about just under, I got two monster stacks. That gives you an idea. So I think I know how many's in a monster stack. Yeah, two monster stacks. Not too bad. Um, so I'm allowed two per acre in Ohio. Once you have 5 acres, I can have as many as I want. And right now I have 2.95 acres, and they go by. It's weird. If you got a half acre, you can have two hives, but once you have more than an acre, you can only have two per acre. So if I had just 0.05 more acres, it's actually 0.045 acres, I could have six hives on my property. So the property I want to buy is 2.75 acres with a 3-bedroom house that was built in 1958. And they have dogs. So I was hoping to buy that house at a pretty decent price because, you know, it's not in the best shape. It does have a 2-car garage, though, which is rare. So it'd be great for somebody who likes to restore automotive cars and stuff like that. For a 2-car garage. I'll have to spend probably $10,000 to $15,000 pulling up all the flooring and putting new flooring in and painting the whole thing, basically, then flipping it. But I'll probably hire all that out. I got a good friend that does that kind of stuff and let him do it. So then I'll have basically 5.5 acres, and yeah, Rick, two hives per acre, so I can have four hives. Like I said, if I just had a little bit more, I could have six hives. So if I get those 2 3/4 acres, I plan on flipping that house, and then maybe I might take a half acre of it. I'll still have a little over 5 acres, so I meet a higher wall and have all as many acres, many as I want, and make a lot out of it. It actually has an address already because it was already going to be a lot someday. It was going to be a 0.66 acre lot. I'll make it probably about a 0.4 acre lot and build a house and then sell that. So I might be doing that when I'm retired in the next year or two. See how things go. I might just wait, just flip that house and use the silver that I stacked to pay off the loan if I buy it here in the next few months. Rick will understand that one. When it goes up to a few $100s an ounce. So yeah, I hope I get it too. Like I said, I've talked to him already 3 times, and he actually said he was very interested in selling it. I was only going to sell his horse farm that was 2.14 acres. And he said, "Well, would you like to buy both lots, my house lot and the horse farm that he had? He had 2 horses." I said, "Yeah, I can do that. I'd actually rather do that because he's on 0.6 acres. I can cut him down to 0.4 acres, take that 0.2 acres And I can use that 0.2 acres with another 0.2 acres off the 2.14 acres and have just enough 0.4 acres so I can still have just a little over 5 acres. Well, I just have to get it all surveyed to make sure it's apples to apples of what the deed says. I know the lot next to me was supposed to be 2.5 acres and it was like 2.65 acres. So whoever surveyed them way back when didn't do a very good job. So my lot might be 3 acres. I actually should get it surveyed, and I might have 3 acres and get 2 more hives. Because his lot was slightly bigger than he thought. And my neighbor, I got a new neighbor just 2 months ago. Corey, real nice guy. Corey and Maura. I got three little kids. I think the oldest is 4 years old, 4, 2, and a baby. A good young family. They bought a 4,000 square foot house on 2.5 acres, 2.65 acres. So 12 per acre. Wow. Yeah, Ohio is their law was probably written 200 years ago, and they've never updated it. In fact, I talked to the Ohio guy, and he goes, "Yeah, that we need to update it. It's so old, and I got to be 25 feet from the property line. If I'm not, I have to build a 6'5" within 3 feet of the hive. I need to put a 6-foot high wall to force them to fly straight up. But that's not a problem on 3 acres, 25 feet. The funny thing is, if I get 5 acres, I have no regulations. I can actually put them right on the borderline if I want to. Ohio is kind of weird. I go from strict, ridiculous regulations to none if I can get 2 more acres. Yeah, so Ohio, if you got less than 5 acres, you're only going to have 2 hives per acre in Ohio. If you live on a half-acre lot, you can have 2 hives. And that's what a lot of people do. Actually, they do about 4 hives, 3 or 4 hives on a half-acre lot. I don't know of any. Somebody has to complain. My neighbor next to me complained. She complains about everything. It's kind of funny. 3 of us plowed the road today, and we plow everybody's driveway too, and nobody plows their driveway. I wouldn't take the risk of being sued by them because I damaged a blade of grass on their property because I was pushing snow onto the yard from the driveway. That's how bad they are. They complain about everything. And they're on a 5-acre lot across the street from me. But that's how some people are. Yeah, Vincent, you're breaking the law. Hopefully you got all good neighbors around you. I got one bad one right across the street from me. Yeah, all mine are on 2.95, 4 acres. 4.9 acres. Maybe 3 acres if I had it resurveyed. Especially since I have a 10-foot that goes up the private drive, down in between 2 5-acre lots behind their house, and then back up to the private drive. So calculating all that property might be crazy. Yeah, see everybody at Nobby. Let me see. When will be my next stream? Let me do that real quick. Let me get my calendar up. That'll be the 16th. So my next one will be on the 16th, and I'll have one on the 30th. And then I'll see everybody at Nobby. So, Shona, I'll be back on the 16th, and I'll be back on the 30th after Christmas, and we can talk about Christmas and see if anybody got any bee equipment or any hives or frames or anything for Christmas. I don't think I'll get any of that stuff. So, all right, everybody, I'm going to hop off. There's 13 people watching. Everybody have a great rest of the day and great 2 weeks. And I'll see you in 2 weeks on the 16th of December. Hopefully, all the snow will be gone and it'll be 50 degrees on that day. I think it will be. All right, everybody be good.